Hi, welcome back. We are discussing a very popular eye trend, eye technique that has just been blowing up the subscription feeds throughout the past couple of months. Personally, I have been avoiding this trend because it is so similar, if not identical, to the same eyeshadow technique I've been teaching on my channel for the past 2 to 3 years now. So I've been getting comments asking if I would do a demo or video on this technique. And the reason I have not done it is because almost every single eyeshadow tutorial I have posted within the past 2 to 3 years, you will see a variation of this technique. So of course we are talking about the Foxy eye trend or the Foxy eye technique, which basically means an elongation of the eye. It is literally just a technique that will lift and give you more of a feline appearance to your eyes. So the reason I think people are so mesmerized with this technique right now is because we have been caught in this decade of doing eyeshadow in a very circular or dome shaped fashion. And the best example I can give you for this is if you go back in, let's just say Jaclyn Hill, her style of doing eyeshadow is very circular, very dome shape. And what I mean by that is literally just the back and forth rounded circular motions of layering and applying eyeshadow. That looks so beautiful if you already have larger round circular eyes. Personally, for me, this took me a very long time to figure out. If you have more of an almond shape eye, smaller lids, hooded lids, downturned lids, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not the most flattering unless you already have those large round circular eyes. So whenever this Foxy eye trend started coming out, people realized like, oh, okay, I don't have to layer 3 to 4 eyeshadows in that windshield wiper motion to get a really nice complemented eye makeup look for my eye shape. So what I'm going to do is basically list every single eyeshadow video down below that is a variation of the Foxy eye from my channel. But what I wanted to do today is simply take you through a very soft, almost invisible Foxy eye that you can do with one eyeshadow. I'm going to use one brush. And we're literally going to be done. It's going to take you probably under 5 minutes once you get the hang of it. So obviously I have this eye done. We definitely have a little bit more elongation on, but one thing I want to point out before we start is that something I want you to keep in mind when learning this technique is literally to avoid the inner corner. You absolutely do not need to touch starting from the half portion of your eye going inward. We want to leave that very bright, very wide, very open, and that really adds to the elongated effect. It keeps the focus on the elongation. So just keep that in mind. All you're going to need is a darker shadow. If you are my complexion, say running into medium tan complexion, a nice rich dark brown will work. If you are in the deep to dark skin tone range, a deeper charcoal or a black would work as well. So the only thing you're going to need other than your eyeshadow is a standard eyeshadow brush. I mean, this is literally as standard as it gets. This one is from Marc Jacobs. You could literally use any type of standard flat eyeshadow brush that you have. Make sure it has a soft texture to it. That's the only thing I would recommend. So we're just going to take a little bit of our shadow on the brush, and what you're going to start out doing is simply kind of stamping it along your lash line, stopping halfway. Again, we don't really want to carry this in all the way. We want to keep that nice and bright and open. And essentially what you're doing first is kind of creating like a faux liner. It's going to look like you have a little bit of eyeliner on. So with just the excess product on your brush, don't go back in and re-dip yet. You're just going to start mapping out almost like you're doing a winged liner. And this is going to really depend on your eye shape, where your eyebrow stops. But I kind of like to stop almost right at the tail of my eyebrow. I know a lot of people are shaving their eyebrows off for this trend. I'm not going to jump on that boat, but if you want to, let me know how it goes. Okay, so already you can see I have this very faint, almost invisible line. That's kind of what you're gonna work off of. So what I like to do after I get that line drawn is just start smudging a little bit of shadow downward. Again, I'm not using I haven't picked up any more product. This is all about layering and stamping in really small motions. So once you feel you really don't have any product left, that's when you can go in very carefully, just work with really small amounts of your shadow. And so what I'm going to do now is kind of start building up on that line. And once you have your line built up just a little bit more, something that really helps me kind of keep the nice elongated shape, but also carry some color into a little bit of my lid space, I'll take my brush and I'll push down and I'll slightly just start sweeping the shadow inwards. Again, stopping about halfway at the eye point. And that's going to basically fill in a little bit more space on your eye and give you this super soft, triangular, elongated effect. So at this point, you have your shape developed, and from here, you really just have to decide what level of depth, how deep you want the color, how rich you want the color. Since I am focusing on a super natural, almost just like barely there type of Foxy eye today, I'm not really going to fill it in a ton, but essentially all you're going to do at this point is softly shade and fill in. So it's really easy just to have this nice little mapped out shape. So you can go in and start deepening everything up. And I basically just run through those same steps again. So again, I'm taking a little bit more shadow, running it along my lash line, creating a little bit more of a deeper liner effect. And then I'm pulling whatever excess I have upward. And then what I like to do sometimes once I get my desired effect through the line shape, I'll just start softly like blending it inward. And then final step, I just like to take whatever is left on my brush and slightly sweep that on my lower lash line, kind of connecting it to the upper elongated portion. That way we have a little bit of cohesiveness going on the bottom and the top. And again, I don't really like to carry it in. I like to just keep it halfway. So we are really neglecting this whole inner portion of the eye. Boom, that's literally all there is to it. I'm gonna apply a little bit of mascara, and then just for fun on this eye, I did apply two little wispy clusters. These are just kind of like individual lashes packed together, and I put two on my outer corner to add a little bit more length. That's completely optional. I think this looks fine with just mascara. And that is it. I'm not here to complicate things. We all know that. And I know this was very short, but I really just wanted to break this down and explain how simple it actually is and how you can go from a very subtle version of this to you can make this as extravagant as you would like. You could even wear this like almost invisibly if you use the right shades, to where people wouldn't even know that you were wearing makeup. It would just almost give this invisible lift to your actual eye shape. So play around with it. Let me know how it goes for you. I'm going to have all of my video references down below, some recommendations on brushes and colors or palettes to use. Really, you don't even need a palette. Honestly, if it weren't for me being so freaking repetitive with caviar sticks, I would have just done this with a Laura Mercier caviar stick and cocoa. But I refrained and took the standard route of powder eyeshadow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, as usual, leave them down below, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.